I'm Taylor, a yin yoga teacher, and today I'm going to teach you how to do a banana pose or Banasana, as you may have heard it in a more active or vinyasa style class. This pose is really great for opening through the sides of the body, and I think it taps into this energetic area of the solar plexus, which is related to confidence, courage, self-esteem, really, really well. So to begin, come to lay down on the back side of your body. You'll want your legs extended out long towards the top of your mat. I like to begin in the middle of your mat and then walk your feet over towards the right edge. You have the option here to have your feet side by side or to cross left ankle over top of the right. I discourage from crossing the right over the left here, as you really want to keep the focus into the left hip and the left side of the body here. Then reach arms over top of your head and use your right hand to grab hold of your left wrist and use that to help shift you all the way over towards the right. You may need to shimmy a little bit here, but you want your left hip to be sticking out the most than any other part on your body. Now, this seems like a simple enough pose, but once you get here, if you notice that your left hip is reaching up, you want to keep this grounded like an anchor. So this means that you may need to slightly release from the pose. Or if you notice your left shoulder lifting off, you can bend more into your elbows or hold on to your elbows. It may also be good for yourself or for your students, if you're lifting off, to use a blanket underneath your left shoulder. This helps with more of a grounding sensation and to keep you really secure here. Now you would do the same thing coming to the other side as well, but always make sure to pause between sides. Really notice how the length changes, what the sensations or how the sensations change in both sides of your body, especially as you're switching sides, as this can be when it's the most noticeable. Now, a more restorative version of this pose that I like to practice, because I feel like in my body personally, it helps me open a little bit more through the weight of my own body, and I've noticed that my students quite like this as well, is using a bolster. You can also do this with a really thick rolled blanket or towel. You want it to be quite high. So we can start stretching through the left-hand side of our body again, and you'll want your bolster to come towards your right hip. I'm going to scooch a little bit over because I know I'm going to fold over it. Your feet are going to be tucked to the side away from the bolster, and when you come to lay over top of your bolster, you want your rib cage to land on it, not on your hip bone, on your rib cage. So you're literally folding from bust up over, and your lower body, your hip is still staying stuck to the ground. You can begin here by coming to your elbow and using your hands to hold your head, and your opposite hand lands in front of you. This may be where you stay for a little while or for the whole pose. Eventually, you can extend your bottom arm long to rest your head on your bicep. And to build the pose, you can reach your top arm over top of your head. It drapes over or just behind your head. And you can extend your top leg long. Maybe even your bottom leg if that feels comfortable. I usually find keeping it bent feels best though, but of course, do what feels best in your body. And to come out, simply draw your limbs back in that were extended. Use one hand in front of your chest to help push you up. And then you switch to the other side. Whichever variation that you choose, I recommend holding for between 3 to 6 minutes. You can really play around with this pose and send your breath into your rib cage. Think of expanding through the rib cage, and this will be a really great cue for your students to find space there as well. Now you can try practicing this pose in a sequence that I've linked in the description below, as well as find a ton of other information on how to practice this pose and sequence it into your own classes. As with any yin yoga pose, the most important thing to remember is that if there is any sharp shooting pain or too much discomfort, to slowly remove yourself from the pose. Banana is usually a pretty safe one though, and if you would like more details on the pose, I have a detailed blog post that I've linked below, including a practice that includes this pose so you can try it in a sequence. Until next time, I'll see you again soon.